So if you've edited real estate photos, I'm pretty sure you've came across luminosity masks. Maybe you use them today, maybe you've used them in the past, maybe you're thinking about using them. And if you're like me, you do have your neat little panel that can do that for you, like LUMENZIA in my case. There's also Raya Pro, TK panel, and there's many more. And the way that works in this case in LUMENZIA, I'll have my base here. I will put that underneath. I can select the lightest pixels in this image by pressing the L. I will constrain that mask some by holding dragging the slider, and then I will select the layer I want to be affected and press mask, and it will create a mask on that layer. And if I enable it, you can see I get some more details out the window. And the same thing with the lights and so on. If you don't want to invest in a panel, if you I can say it's the best $40 I've invested in my life, I think. There's so much more than just luminosity masks. There's a whole other story of things that you can use. So take a look at it if you're interested. Otherwise, it's okay to do this manually as well, and I will show you how. So I have my base layer on top. This is the layer I want to create the luminosity masks from. So what I do is I go to the channels panel. If you don't have that, you go to the window and channels. There, I have mine on the left side because it's convenient for me. You can have it wherever you want. It works the same, of course. Yeah, so I will start by doing the light luminosity masks, which is the ones that selects the lighter areas in the photos. And I will do that by holding Command and clicking on RGB channel. That will make a selection. And this selection I will save as a channel mask by pressing this icon here. And in this case, I will rename that to L1. With it still selected, I will hold Command, Option, Shift, and L, pressing the L1, and that will constrain the mask even more. So now I will create a new channel mask from that selection, and I will call this L2 by double-clicking on it. And once again, Command, Option, Shift, and clicking on L2 constrains it even more, and then I will press that button once again, and I will rename this to L3. I will press the RGB to go back where I was. I will press Command D to deselect, and now I will do the luminosity mask for the darks. So I will once again Command, clicking on RGB, and this time we will invert the selection, and you can do this by holding Command Shift I or go to Select and Inverse. Now we will save that selection as a channel mask, and I will rename that D1, sorry. And I will hold Command, Option, Shift, and pressing on D1. It constrains it. I will make another channel mask, call this D2. And once again, Command, Option, Shift, clicking on D2, save selection as channel mask, and we will do it like this. We will call it D3. So now we've actually created a set of luminosity masks. We have the L1, the L2, which constrains it a bit more, the L3, D1, D2, and D3. And now if I go back to this one, I can do it like this. I have the base. And in this case, I want to get some more details from outside the window. I will put that on top of the base. This is the dark. And I will make a selection out of the lights 3 in this case, which was the constrained, most constrained masks of them. And then I will select the dark layer and I will press create layer mask. So now you can see we created a mask that is kind of restricted, and this is the way it looks. And it only lets in the darker pixels in that areas. And if I disable the mask, you see this is a dark layer. This is with it on. This is with it on. And the same thing, I can pull my lights layer on top. And now I just want to have some of the darkest pixels. And I will, therefore, I will hold the command and press in this D3 to make that a selection. And I will press add layer mask, and we added our little lights in our shadows and our midtones. So this is on and off. Yeah, that's a bit too much. Maybe I just lower the opacity to around, yeah, like 50%, I think. So if I group those, this is where we started and this is where we are, which is a good base for a blended ambient file for further editing in your real estate photos. But this is a bit tedious to do in every single image to click and so. So I highly suggest, if you don't want to invest in the panel, you could actually create an action for yourself that does all this by the click of a button. So I will go back to a state earlier here with nothing, no luminosity masks whatsoever, just the file opened from Lightroom in layers. So I have my base on top. I will create an action. Go to the action. I will actually delete that. I did it once before. I have, if you can't see your actions, it's under the window and action. And here I have one folder here, and this is a folder called YouTube. It's empty at the moment. So I will create a new action by pressing this plus icon. I will call this Luminosity Masks. And press enter to start recording. You can see that it's recording by this red dot. And now I will do that all again. I will press command and clicking on RGB, make a selection. I will save that selection as a channel mask, rename it to L1. I will hold command option shift and pressing on L1, and I will save that as a new channel mask. I will rename it to L2. Once again, command option shift and clicking on L2 and create a new channel mask and call that L3. And then I will press command D to deselect. I will hit the RGB to bring back the colors. I will hold command and click on RGB. And in this instance, we want to invert the selection. So I'm pressing command shift and I. And then I will press to save that selection to a channel mask. And I will call this D1. And I will do the same thing again, command option shift. Clicking on D1, constrains it, saves that selection, D2. And once again, command option shift and clicking on D2, I will save that selection as a channel mask and I will rename it to D3. I will throw in a little bonus. I will deselect that. I will go back to the RGB. I will now press Command A to select the whole image, and I will hold the Command and Option and clicking on L1 to intersect the L1. And I will keep holding Command and Option. I will press on D1. It gives me a warning. It tells me that no pixels are more than 50% selected. The selection edges will not be visible, and that's okay. It will still be selected. And I will press to save that selection as a channel mask, and I will call this the midtones. Whew, there you go. And I will deselect by pressing Command D, and I will go back to RGB. And now I can finally press stop on the recording. So now we're done. Now we just have to see if it works. So In this case, it won't work, I think, because I haven't tried it. But since we already have our channel mask, I will try it anyway, just for fun. Oh, it actually did. It created a new set of the same actions. But if I go back a snapshot, I have a clean state for this image. I will mark luminosity mask. I will press play. Now you have your images here. So I will use my base. I will put the darker on top. I want some more detail through the windows and tame in the highlights a bit. So I will press Command and L3, which makes a selection of that channel mask. And then I will select that layer and press the Add Layer Mask. So there you go. There you have your details through the window. And we can also do it like this. We can use the midtones in this case. I drag the lights layer on top. I will hold Command, press on the midtones. It's gonna give me the same warning as we had before. Doesn't matter, it's okay. And then I will just press Add Layer Mask. So there you go. Now I have made this a bit more faster. Now we have our nicely blended image that we can work on. Get some, if you want to use flash, or you can just work on the contrast, and you can fine tune the mask, you can paint on them as well. But now you have your first action for luminosity masks. And yeah, I highly suggest you take a look at the panels either way. But yeah, now you know how to do it. So thank you.